Everybody, I just wanted to quickly pop on the camera and say hello, and of course, big apology for not having put out some content a little earlier on because of insert lame excuse here. Okay, stuff going on, time, energy, and all the rest of that. It's just the way things have been with me. But I want to kind of discuss with you some of my thoughts, as I often do. And I think it's worthwhile correlating this with some of my past experiences as well. For those of you who don't know, quite a while ago, I had a lot of health problems, which are even worse than the stuff that I've been going through in recent years. This was chronic fatigue, candidiasis, and related issues, including allergies, nutritional deficiency, leaky gut, GERD, and a wide variety of other things. This led me energyless and with brain fog and not being able to concentrate or function properly. But when going to the doctors, they would say things like, it's just psychological. Okay. Now, at that time, there was growing understanding that there is something called chronic fatigue and candidiasis and post-viral fatigue syndrome. But this was not growing awareness within the medical world. So like 35 years ago, when I was really going through it big time, I had this disease for which medical science told me that there was no evidence, and therefore it can't be real. Medical science was obviously incorrect. Further analysis, such as with tests for my vitamins and mineral levels and all the rest of that, essentially proved quite obviously that yes, there was something seriously wrong with the body. And I then had to speak to another doctor of a different type who happened to be a fully qualified general practitioner, but his practice was in homeopathy. All right, who could then give me the EPD treatments to at least work on the allergic side of things, which was causing me a lot of distress. And also he works upon vitamin and mineral levels, and I would go back to this place called Biolab in London on every couple of months in order to check that the vitamin and mineral levels were improving and reaching the right level, and then there would be a change or an adjustment to my routine, and I'd be given a timetable of when to take each variety of nutritional supplementation and so on and so forth. There's a very educational time as far as physical health is concerned. But the fact of the matter was, I could not get treatment from a doctor, because the standards of science at the time said that my disease did not exist. And therefore, the doctors would say there is no evidence for candidiasis, there is no evidence for the leaky gut, there is no evidence for this, that, and the other. All right, there's no evidence for post-viral fatigue syndrome. No evidence. And because of that, the doctors would never help me. And I had to do everything the complementary health way, including the EPD treatments, enzyme potentiated desensitization to the allergies and the rest of that. I had to have very precise monitoring of all of my vitamin and mineral levels, okay, all of the nutrition in the body. Okay, I had to have treatments that were designed to control the candidiasis, control the fungus, and a dietary program which was in keeping with what was required at various stages during my healing process. That's when I was younger. So when I'm in this position now, in my very late 40s, okay, I've developed some attitudes towards scientific truth. And the fact is that I'm of the opinion that in, let's say, 100 years' time, what is today regarded as being true by science will basically be seen as being something very similar to peasant superstition or being unbelievably primitive. Science moves forward, but at each stage in history, science as a body promotes itself as being the one true source of knowledge and truth, to the point whereby they will deny the existence of things which exist, because they say that there is no evidence. The actual evidence is out there. It's in the people. It's in the bodies of people. All right? It exists when it comes to health. And there's still lots of other stuff which I go through on my day-to-day basis, which I have to work on myself, because science says there is no evidence of it. But there is evidence of it because it exists, and it happens to me. Now, I'm grateful for the way that science has progressed to this present point in time, just as with all the other disciplines such as medicine and engineering and technology. I'm very grateful for the fact that there has been progression. But my point is that the progression is not complete. And there will be people in positions of authority, scientific authority, who will make statements that there are some things which are true, which they think aren't true because they say that there isn't evidence, primarily because they're not looking out for it. They haven't done the right kind of experimentation and so on and so forth. It just reminds me of the time when, like, Pasteur went to prove that spontaneous generation was a load of rubbish, using the swan neck flask and going out to the Catholic Church to prove it, with an experiment. All right? There's things which are true, which an authority disproves. But instead of fighting against the Catholic Church, it seems that the fight is more against the Church of Science. And what the Church of Science is telling people is true and is not true at this present point in time. There are billions of people on this planet. Okay? All of them have got, organs of sensory perception of one form or another. Okay? Even if they're blind, they'll still have the sense of hearing, and they'll all have brains as well. All right? So the ability to experience something and trying to work out what that thing is part of what we are as humans. So there are people in the world who will be, just because of the way that nature is, experiencing things in their day-to-day lives which are anomalous by the standards of science or by the standards of medicine. This, to me, seems to imply that although the understanding of the people may not be 100% accurate about the things that they are experiencing, the fact of the matter is they are experiencing anomalous phenomena. And those anomalous phenomena of any type should be explored, and explored better and better with the passage of time. A lot of my channel has been based upon what I regard as being natural, but which the scientific community will not regard as being natural or true or have sufficient existence for them to want to invest sufficient time and energy. Taking into account my experiences with chronic fatigue, post-viral fatigue syndrome, and candidiasis, and the fact that I was at odds against the doctors about those things, because I was the one who had the evidence, and the evidence was here, but they didn't want to look at it, I believe that there's many other things in the world for which there is also evidence, for which the scientific world is not actually looking at, because maybe they're priorities at the time. But I'm certainly not going to accept what someone from the sciences or from medicine, let's say, as being an absolute truth, when essentially there must be more going on, because people experience more. I will leave you with that thought, and whether you choose to agree with me or disagree with me, I got a comment section. Feel free to use it. Look after yourselves, no matter who you are and what you think or what you believe. We're all trying to understand the world just through simple organs of sensory perception and poxy-pathetic little human brains. So we're going to get things wrong, but we're also going to progress if we carry on being tenacious. Bye for now.